You had 4 years of losses, am I right?
Yeah.
4 years
So,
of losses. Like, would you have still gone into the foundry industry in 05? And think wisely. Okay?
Yeah.
A lot of aspiring foundry people are listening. Did you have mentors around? Were you reading books? Like, where were you getting your information from?
So there was only two options for me. Either you close it down, or either you hit back hard. I have never seen anybody in this industry who says they know everything about foundry.
Why SGIN? Only SGIN? Because you only pour SGIN in your foundry. Why?
For the next 5 years, maybe before you pop up the question, see, I always say technology.
What comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, that's a tricky question. Yeah, this is one thing I've seen and I would like to tell everyone is that if you have the desire to excel and desire to do something,
if you're a foundry professional, the chances are that your education really only began the moment you stepped foot into a foundry and will never end, because experts say that foundry is a lifelong learning process. And that's why we've created the Foundry School. So here's your once in a lifetime chance to be part of a global community that could be much bigger than ourselves. So join our 30-day trial and kickstart your foundry career today. The link is going to be below in the description, and I'll see you on the inside. And if you make it to the inside, congratulations. This foundry is probably like a class apart, right? You had a lot of time to structure it, design it the way you wanted from past experiences, right? So tell us about this plant initially. Tell us about what you're currently doing, your capacity right now, what you're focusing on right now.
we started this plant somewhere in 2023 May, the production itself. But we had bought this land in 2019 and we started in 2022 the construction in the time of COVID. So we had a lot of hurdles and a lot of obstacles to
2020 during the time of COVID.
Yeah. Okay. So we started the construction then.
Right.
The first COVID wave, the second COVID wave. So it took almost 2.5-3 years to complete this project. So 2023 May is 18th May is when we started commercial production. First billing went through. A lot of things have gone through to make this foundry. We have learned from our past experiences. Not being a first foundryman from the beginning, first generation foundryman in my family. So the capacity of this foundry is around 400 metric ton per month. We have touched around
for a jobbing foundry, that's pretty large.
Yeah. So about from 700 odd patterns.
Right.
So it's
700 patterns.
Yeah.
So you might need like a separate foundry just to store them.
We are storing them at a different place because we didn't want to retain the patterns here because they utilize more of your space, more of your productive space.
Right.
So we are storing it somewhere else. So it's kind of an art. I always say that foundry is an art basically.
Right.
It's not like a machine shop. So it's an art. So this foundry is total area is around 59,000 square feet. The production area is around 27,000 square feet. And that's it. We are only manufacturing SGIN castings. And
I think mainly I asked you off camera why only SGIN, but we'll get into that like sooner.
Later
in the video. Yeah.
So we are only manufacturing SGIN castings. We are a jobbing foundry, right from 5 pieces to up to hundreds of pieces we can deliver. And why jobbing is because there are a lot of people in the market into mass production. There are very less jobbing foundries.
Right.
So we wanted to encash on that market.
Was this something that you thought of earlier, 20 years back while starting, or is it something that you?
I started the foundry as a jobbing foundry itself.
Okay. So you had like with that intention.
There were two things. One, at that point of time, I didn't have the money to put a mass production foundry.
Okay.
So now I can, but I would still stick to jobbing foundry.
Okay. And I really want to ask you why. Right.
Yeah, the reason is there are a lot of friends of mine in the market who are already having a lot of mass production foundries. Don't want to be a competitor to our own friends, our own fraternity.
Right.
Jobbing foundry is something which is interesting because you are dealing with a lot of different verticals of market.
Only a passionate foundryman would say that's interesting.
That's why I said I'm not born as a foundryman. I became a foundryman in 2005 when I started my journey.
Right.
So it's interesting. We cater to different kinds of market. We cater to injection molding machine manufacturers. We cater to railway industries. We cater to machine tool. We cater to compressor industry. We cater to earth moving industry. We cater to glass industry. Other than automotive industry, we cater to all other industries.
Especially for a jobbing foundry, what I see is that you need to find a product range, right? I think that's something so you can stabilize your sort of revenue or your order book. right? Do you think that's true?
Actually, we had not thought about this product range earlier because as and when the customers came in, we started looking into the market.
Right.
But now that it's been almost 20 years I'm into this line, so we have decided to stay with some market. Now we have categorized our product line, what we want to do, what we want to focus at, and that's it. That's how we are going ahead.
So things are getting much better than they are.
Yeah.
Right. That's good. All right. So I also wanted, highlight some of the new developments you've done in this foundry, especially when you moved, because I think you have a really class apart laboratory. It is very well equipped. You have NDT testing completely done up over there. You have simulation, of course, that I saw earlier. You have lot of technology built in.
I say I do not. Okay, you say so that it's a class apart, but what you see is everybody has this. What we have tried to do is we have tried to bring in the latest technology. We have the simulation software. We have all the facility under one roof except radiography. We also recently introduced 3D scanning, handheld 3D scanning, which is the must, which is the latest technology. And coming to the technology, what we have brought in is we have tried to bring in state-of-the-art code wire treatment for HGIN, which is a must these days. Only one other foundry in Belgaum has it. We are the second one to have it. The first one who has it is a good friend of mine. So I spoke to him, I understood what benefits is he getting, and we thought we will go in for it. So we have just installed that code wire treatment.
Right.
So that is one of the technologies which you have brought in immediately.
Correct.
And also we have, you can say we have the ERP going on, made by a foundryman background. So that's basically iCast.
Shamal, if you're listening, thank you.
Yeah, Shamal. So Shamal and Bhumin have been really good to us. They've understood what the requirement.
Right.
There are so many other softwares in the market, but they are set modules what they have. They do not deviate from it.
Right.
These guys were very friendly enough to understand our requirement, modify their software according to us, give us their ear to understand what our requirement is. That's why we've been happy with it. And after that, they have sold one more in Belgaum and many more across India.
Right.
And we're doing good with it.
Also talk about your IoT, because I think that is something that you showed me, and it's really it's a wow, right?
Yeah. So on the base of IoT, see what happened is nowadays you need the information on your fingertips. Like we just speaking about iCast. iCast has something called as their mobile app.
Okay.
Wherein you can authorize the purchase orders. You can check what's happening. You can drill down in the app and check what's being produced, what's rejected, how much sales has been done. So similarly, we have gone into energy management system, where we have gone with a company called as earlier it was called as Enerle. Now it's named as Carbon Minus. That's a fantastic platform. I think so people should get on board to it.
Right.
It's an energy management software where you get data from across all equipments, and based on that you can decide which equipment is healthy, which equipment is not healthy, what actions to be taken, how to go ahead with it.
You know, I had spoken to Vikram a couple of months back when we started, but it's really nice to be listening to somebody using their software, and that's a different perspective I'm getting. So it's really nice.
Yeah, I have seen other energy management softwares. They are not so user friendly. I've been using this Carbon Minus earlier, as I said, NLA, since last 3-4 years now. And it gives me a bird's eye view of the whole operations.
Right.
I can sit and check my machine shop's health of the power.
Correct.
All the parameters. So it's really good.
It's also an early warning sign into some preventive maintenance that needs to be done.
Yeah. So what happens is basically when you are looking at it, you have a benchmark set. So when you have a benchmark set of some of the equipments, so once it gets deviated, it gets reflected immediately. You get mails, you get messages on your mobile.
Right.
So immediately you can take action on it. You can ask your maintenance people to look into it. So it's really good. And I hope the fraternity adopts this technologies sooner the better.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I want to get back into 20 years back, right? Because you started this foundry pretty much from scratch at the earlier place in 05. We'll put up some pictures of it. I mean, I hope you'll share some pictures I can share. So what was that process like? Like, why did you get into the foundry industry? What was your background in Belgaum? And what was that process like choosing a jobbing foundry at that time?
Okay. The thing is, I'm born and brought up in Belgaum. So we were into hydraulics. My parent company name is Industrial Hydraulics Private Limited,
right,
which was started by my uncle and my father. So we were into hydraulics. So after my engineering in 2000, I wanted to join them. I joined them for 2-3 years. They were not ready to retire. They said we will work till the last breath,
Okay.
and I said that's perfectly fine. And it gave me a idea to where you can start something new, because I didn't want to sit at the same place and do the same turnover.
Correct.
So it was good, and I'm very thankful to my parents that they agreed to that we'll do something new other than our own field. So uncle's friend came in, pitched in, saying ki we have a foundry to discard the hand molding division and go in for a atomized line. Would you like to take over the business? So we said yes. So that's how, because they were doing jobbing. So when I took over that business, that's how we had the jobbing foundry in place. So I didn't have much option.
Right.
But when I wanted to have a mass production foundry that time, but as I said, we didn't have the finance that much to
Correct.
put in.
Correct.
So that's why in 2005, that's how we
That
started.
was how you got your start.
Yeah,
And you
that's
also
what-
mentioned that you had 4 years of losses. Am I right?
Yeah.
4 years
So,
of losses. Yeah.
so we used to do about 30-40 tons a month.
Right.
So 4 years, year on year, we used to see losses happening. So I had the stats in place.
Like the obvious question here: why wait till 4 years? Like, why not after like 1 year losses? Like, let's take some action here. Like, I'm trying to understand your thought.
See what happens. See what happens is basically when you invest, the returns are not faster for
Okay.
any industry,
Right.
and especially when you are in a new industry, it is difficult to catch up the business faster. So the first year we thought maybe we just started. The second year we thought the rejections are a little higher.
Okay.
The third year maybe the price fluctuation, the
Trying
raw
to figure
material.
out where the issue was. Okay.
So I didn't have that stats in place.
Right.
So maybe I acquired those stats for the last
Right.
4 years, and then got a grip of it.
Yeah,
and
I think
took
for
over.
many people, their first foundry is like their MBA, their first 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're like a mad scientist trying to tinker around, trying your own art at foundry, as you said. So I think that was a good foundation for you. So
Yeah, basically there is where I learned what foundry is, and that's what we had decided, that we'll start small, so that if we fail, the losses are a little
you fail
less.
small as well.
Smaller, yeah.
Right. So knowing what you do know now, like where you are currently, would you have still gone into the foundry industry in 05?
Ha,
And think wisely. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of aspiring foundry people are listening.
So see, basically on a geographical matter, Belgaum is famous for hydraulics,
Right.
foundry, and crankshaft machining. As I told you before, also we are into hydraulics already. Crankshaft machining, job working, I didn't want to do. So the only option left was foundry.
Right.
And because the skill was available in Belgaum, so we took it up.
I think
That's
that's very
how-
important. The ecosystem and cluster has to be there for you to get in. It's a natural fit then.
Yes. And the other thing is what
Right.
foundry, when I got into it, is it's really a passionate business. You can know you're creating something.
Correct.
So that's how I started liking towards it. So
That's great. I also want to cover a little bit of your uncle and dad's story because they had a really nice story, right? So talk a little bit about that.
So my uncle, Mr. B.P. Desai, my godfather, his godfather was my father, Mr. M.P. Desai. My father basically was from a non-technical background. So he was a forest officer in Belgaum, placed in Belgaum, Kanapur, Londa, and other places. My uncle, we are from a village called as Halga,
Right.
about 10 kilometers from Belgaum. So after my uncle's 10th, that's he wanted to study further, but my grandfather wanted him to be a farmer.
Okay.
So when my grandfather told him nothing doing, you're not going to study further, you go to the fields. That's when my uncle ran away from the house one fine day.
Ran away from home.
Yeah. One fine day he ran away. He came to my dad when he was posted in Belgaum. So he said, I don't want to go back and I want to learn.
Did your grandfather know he was with your dad?
After 3 days, yeah. After 3 days. So he came and settled with my father. My father taught him.
Right.
Then he got a job in Bemco. Then he wanted to be an aspiring entrepreneur himself. So he took up this industry. My father helped him. He started very small. I still remember there is a place called as Lakshmi Xerox in Udimbag. There is where we had a 10 by 10 room where we had 2 lathes. My
Okay.
uncle used to do about some cylinders and power packs there. So from there, then we moved into a small KSSI DC shed
Correct.
in 1982. That's how our journey
Beginnings
began.
of IH.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
That's Industrial Hydraulics Private Limited.
Right.
The abbreviation I and H is picked up from there.
Correct.
Castings followed to it.
Correct.
Some money from the house and the bank. That's it.
So that was yeah, I think that's also important because when you went into the foundry business, you told me that your uncle or your dad was it your uncle or dad like told you to go and take a 40 lakh loan just so you can
See, my uncle was always saying ki if I pamper you more, you will never struggle.
Right.
So he said, I'll give you a bit of the money and I'll stand behind that name of IH Custom, because if somebody
Right.
wants to fund you,
Right.
they'll see the balance sheets or your IT returns.
Right.
So he pitched in and he said, I want you to take a loan. I said, why to take a loan when we have the money?
Right.
So he said, you have to take the loan because he says you'll understand the importance of it.
Right.
You'll have that burn and desire to repay that loan.
Right.
Otherwise, it's very difficult. And also told me, I remember very well, he had told me, if you run this business successfully and you are the master of it, it's all yours. If you fall,
Right.
it's alone who you will fall and you have to repay the loan. So I'm not behind you. So that was always in my mind.
Correct.
So after that, it was no stopping. So
So that must have been like a very early driver for you as well.
yeah.
Right. That's great. I mean, that's really good advice for anyone starting out. Like, get some leverage so that they have some fire burning under them.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, '05 you start off, 4 years of losses. You get wiser in 2010, in 2010, right? Finally, you cut the losses, and then you mentioned that a Japanese company approached you at that time.
Yeah. See, what happened is I was supplying to only one company from '05 to '10. A Japanese company came across us. I've never advertised or done any marketing for my foundry. It is through word of mouth we have got businesses or people searching for us.
Okay, no marketing at all.
No, absolutely no. If you search for us, no India Mart or
Right.
no online platforms or
Right.
anything. So it's word of mouth basically. And the other thing is this Japanese company came to us. They looked at us. They looked at the passion what we have, and they looked at the setup and they said, "You will not qualify for our this," and that hit me hard. I said, "I would like to supply you, but why do you say that I cannot qualify for it?"
Multinational?
Yeah, multinational.
Okay.
It's a Japanese company. They have a company in India too. So it hit me hard when they said you will not qualify. I said, why will I not qualify? So they said some systems are missing. Your setup is too small for us. So I said, give me some time. I've just started. I'm just recovering from things. Give me
Right.
some time. Let me start small with you.
Right.
So I started small with them. They took me 2 or 3 times to their plant. So when they took me to the plant, it really opened up my eyes. I said, we are nowhere compared to the systems what they have. So I had a desire saying I would like to be the best supplier to you people. So from just a mere supplying about 2 to 3 tons a month, now we are doing about 1800 tons with them.
1800 tons?
80 to 100 tons.
80 to 100.
80,
Okay.
80 to 100 tons.
Wow.
So that's I learned a lot from the company.
You're still supplying to them
Yes, I'm
to this
still-
date
I'm
from
still
this
supplying.
from this unit.
Yes, I'm
Amazing.
still supplying to them, and then because of them, then I thought I'll move out to a bigger place. So I was not getting a bigger place. Overnight, I had to search for a place. I got a rented place of 20,000 square feet. There is where I moved in from a 5,000 square feet to a 20,000 square feet. There is where we moved it from 30, 40 tons a month to directly scaled up to 140, 150 tons.
Correct.
So that's how the journey started.
Right. And this would have been a very pivotal point in your journey, because you were also coming out from the earlier losses. You were winding up the earlier operations and the entire business. You told me, right? You
Yeah.
wind up the entire earlier business. You went into a new sort of foundry unit, also with a new customer. So it's like a lot of shifts happening at this period. So what was your mentality at this point? Like, how were you doing your development as an entrepreneur? What was your growth coming from? Like, did you have mentors around? Were you reading books? Like, where were you getting your information from?
So there was only 2 options for me. Either you close it down, or either you hit back hard. And the only option left to me, I had this desire of me inside that you should do always good or better.
Right.
That was there. And the other thing is that the support from the family. And I was married in 2007.
Okay.
So my wife was always behind me saying, go ahead, let's see, do
Okay.
it. So that also kept pushing me.
Right.
My uncle, as a role model, as I said, he was a godfather, including my parents. So he used to always say, if you fail, you'll understand you have to win for it. So I always try to struggle for it.
Correct.
Still, it's a never-ending story. So, and foundry business is such. I have never seen anybody in this industry who says they know everything about foundry.
Correct.
It's a learning process. It's an everyday process, and it's
Correct.
a vast subject to learn. So,
Right.
That's how it
Amazing.
is.
Amazing. So you start off this foundry 2012. You get your Japanese customer. You're slowly building new customers at this period. So how was that process to acquire these next customers like? What were you doing at that point?
see what happened basically is with the company coming in, with the systems in place, with doing work for them, the word started going out.
Okay.
The people there in the company, their vendors. We used to supply castings to the vendors also. They were happy with our quality. They were happy with the responses to us, on-time deliveries, lower rejection rates. So the word started spreading out, and once the word started spreading out, we started getting the customers in. So then it was no stopping.
Do you think being a job work foundry at this point like really helped you, because these would be like critical castings, bigger castings, which people are not ready very easily to take up?
True. See, that's why I said the USP at our end is we are a jobbing foundry.
Right.
We have a multi mix of products. We don't say no to anything.
Correct.
We are open for
Correct.
whatever part comes to us way. So that approach clicked very well with the people.
Correct.
So they would start pouring.
Why not also go for a hybrid approach? Because what I've seen certain foundries 10 years back doing, they had, of course, their Jolt Squeeze line. But at the side, they also had a CO2 line where they would take up irregular sizes and everything. So they would not say no to business. What were your thoughts on that process?
That's because the customer, when he's with you, he wants everything to be done at your end. He doesn't want to walk out somewhere else.
Okay.
That's how people have adapted that thing. If they have a Jolt Squeeze or ARPA line and then
Right.
they request them, "Ki, please do this job for us."
Correct.
They don't want to go out somewhere, and they have started that way. In our case, as I said already, Belgaum or Kolhapur already have lots of Jolt Squeeze or ARPA lines or high pressure molding lines. That it doesn't give me a kick to put the same kind of
Correct.
setup.
Correct.
So because there are already so many people into it. So
Today,
it will be just killing each other's markets. So.
Right. As you mentioned, I think today it's very specialized. Like either
Yeah.
this is the flash size we do and we can't do it. You know,
Yeah.
and like how you
The box sizes.
box sizes.
Yeah.
Right.
Box size and the weight what is
Right,
provided.
like foundries are very rigid today. They're
Yeah.
like, this is my expertise and we just do this.
Yeah.
Like even you with the SG and cast iron, I think that's something that I want to get into. I have a set of bonus questions that I'm going to ask
Yeah.
you where we go to that. So you go along, you don't need any marketing. Good foundries don't need any marketing. In fact, I don't know, I think I want your view on that. Like why do good foundries not need any marketing?
See, good foundries don't need marketing. Is basically it's your reputation in the market. The customer is your marketing too. You keep your customers happy, they'll give you more
So
customers.
these are all like referrals. One customer telling another
Yeah,
customer.
or maybe customers. A lot of people shift jobs, like the procurement manager or somebody else. They shift jobs.
That's a very interesting point. Like
Yeah.
the purchase manager goes to another company and then
and he already knows the source.
yeah, my friend Anand can do it. Like right.
True.
Right.
So I basically feel that your customers are your own marketing tool. They'll get you business,
Right.
even if they have a limited business at your end. Because see, for me, one of the machine tool industry whom we supply very small margin of SGN for them. But because of them, I have got multiple businesses from their own vendors because they've been talking about us wherever they've gone.
Hmm.
So that's how we have got business. So then I say, ki, why to invest money into marketing and get the business when you're already getting the business?
Correct.
So that's how it is.
I think foundry is one of the fewest businesses I've seen that works mainly on referrals.
Yeah.
You know, hardly any marketing required for a good foundry.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're bad casting, of course, you need a big marketing department. Anyway, so 2017, you start your machine shop.
Yeah.
Right? That would have been a very big shift again. Like every 4 years, I see this is a trend. Like every 4 years, you want to do something new. And this is pretty much what you're aiming at. So what was the process with the machine shop like? How did you do your R&D? Where did you get your information, knowledge from? And how did you acquire the land and everything?
Okay, see, the thing was we already had land in place. We didn't want to shift immediately to machining because 05 we started the foundry. 010 we got a little stabilized. 012 we shifted to a new rented property.
Correct.
And then 012 to 017 is hardly 5 years. We are still getting stabilized with production capacity increasing it. But the customers started pushing us saying, ki, we don't want just castings from you, we want end product, that machine parts. Initially, I tried to get some things machined in Bangalore or in Belgaum also.
Like outsourced completely.
Outsourced. But
Right.
I was not getting the total machine solution because if I have to machine it at one place, the other person needs to get machine the other remaining parts of it. So what we did is we didn't have any other option but to start our own machine shop. Because we have a conventional setup for our hydraulics, we didn't have the expertise for CNC. We never had owned a CNC machine. There was a friend of mine, Mr. Ketan from Kolhapur. He owns a company called as Pinnacle. So I got his referral. So he was into CNC setup.
Right.
So I asked him a few questions. I asked him whether he would help me out. So he helped me out by making understand what kind of a specification you should buy. And 1 or 2 machines of mine, he's freeze the prices, he's freeze the specification for us. He's handled for us for some time to stabilize. So that's how we started.
Okay.
And today I can proudly say that it's a give and take. So he taught me what CNC is, I taught him a foundry. He's acquired a foundry in Kolhapur.
Okay. Like reversed.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I think I don't know if you're going to help me. Show me some photos of a machine shop, because it seems to be like you're doing a lot of machining activity.
Yeah.
Right. And probably also as high tech as the foundry is.
Yeah, there what we have done is we have all CNC machines. We have two VMCs, one HMC, one HBM, one VTM. All are with linear glass scales for getting repeatability and accuracies. We have a CMM, we have a tool precision also. We have a tool dispensing system. We have all our machines onboarded where you get how much time it is cutting, how much time it is under breakdown, how much time it is idle. So we can make decisions ki how much time we can more use the same machines.
Correct.
So this we have done. We have done 0 point system because we are batching. We are doing multiple jobs. So we have tried to reduce the setup time by using 0 point systems made by India, make in India by a Bangalore company.
Correct.
So it's really good.
Also, I think there's one thing I want to touch on. You started a machine shop. You had your foundry, right? I think earlier, 10 years back, machine shops were much more profitable than foundries. Is that what you found 10 years back?
Whenever you are doing a finished component to a customer, there's always a validation.
Right.
Casting business is not so lucrative business as of now. If you are doing a value addition by machining it or doing a sub assembly or an assembly, then there is worth it.
So you mean get closer to the chain, to the supply.
Yeah. So what is happening is
Right.
these days, see, I have met customers these days who are coming in and saying ki they don't want to buy castings. Earlier the trend was different. They used to take the casting, they used to go to their own vendors, or they had their own machining setup. But now the customer walks in, he says ki I'll give you a drawing and you'll have to finish it and give. That's what we are also looking at.
Correct. And this is right from sometimes you don't even get a 3D model, right? That is why you have the setup down.
So
Correct.
yeah, for reverse engineering, we have a 3D scanner also in place.
Correct.
Yeah.
So just to finish on the machine shop, what were some of the hurdles that you faced initially starting off? What was the first year like?
See, I again said that last time also, the initial years don't give you that kind of a revenue back.
Correct.
It's just like it's like an investing like in a mutual fund and waiting for the
Return.
market to go
Right.
rockets.
Right.
So first machine, then we were little tied up because we couldn't scale up. Second machine, third machine, there's no end to it. So basically, the thing was initial days we had a lot of hurdles because we didn't have the CMM in place. We used to machine it one our end, take it to another place, do the CMM, send it to the customers to reject it. So a lot of hurdles. We had to put the CMM. Phase 2 was supposed to be put in phase 1 again. So a lot of hurdles, a lot of manpower into it. But somehow our customers were good enough to handle us. Even they send their team at our end to teach us, and handholding was fantastic with our customers.
That also shows that they valued your casting and your validation so much that they were willing to support you rather than just change suppliers immediately.
Yeah, this is one thing I've seen, and I would like to tell everyone is that if you have the desire to excel and desire to do something, there will people or your customers will definitely support you. They should see that burn in your eyes saying ki we want to do something.
Correct.
So that's how they have developed us.
Correct. All the way from the Japanese to all the other customers
Yeah.
that came ahead. Okay. So finally this machine shop goes, you finally get some success along the way to revamp it, and then you move into 2023, this foundry acquisition process, right? What was the designing like to come here? And this would have been a monumental leap from your 2012 plant, correct? So what was
Yeah.
that process like?
So 2012, the rented property what we had, we couldn't do much because it was an old building. It was belonging to someone else. Even if I have to move a wall, I had to take permissions,
Right.
which I used to hardly get. So it was very difficult to improvise there. When you have your own place, then you can think about how we want the place to come up.
Like empty canvas.
Yeah. So what we did was when we bought this place, we started having discussion with our team of people, right from the furnace operator to up to the GM level. We sat down, we understood the hurdles what we were having in the old plant.
Right.
So we jotted down points on a regular basis, and we started doing brainstorming, what has to be done, how it has to be done, so that we don't face this problem the next time we move into somewhere. So I can proudly say that the whole team pitched into, and we had hardly any issues when we shifted here, because there was a lot of thought process which went behind bringing this plant up.
Right.
But to stabilize this plant took almost a year, because once you move into a new house, you know how it is. The finishing doesn't get over
Correct.
so soon.
Correct.
So
And
that's how
I
it
think
was.
that's a trend from your talk, right? The O5 it took some time to set up.
Yeah.
O12 took some time. 17 took some time. Here took some time. So I think that's something that people really need to take note of. Like when you start a new venture, there is like a teething period.
In all the businesses, basically,
All
in all the
businesses.
businesses you have it.
Right.
But being in IF, it has opened up a lot of doors for us. We've been welcomed everywhere. I've been roaming a lot of foundries, taking a lot of cues from there, good practices, what they have faced difficulties.
Right.
I feel now it is opened up. Not in 2005. A lot of people were a little closed doors,
Reserved. Yeah.
reserved and closed door. They
Right,
were not so
right.
open to discuss about these things.
Right.
But now I feel wherever we go, things have changed. It is not rocket science. It is a matter of time. Everybody will get the technology in place. So now people have started sharing, collaborating, discussing openly. So IF is one of the very good platforms. If anybody is not a member still, the Institute of Indian Foundrymen, please do be a member
He's
of
an
it.
ex-chairman of Belgaum chapter.
Yeah, I'm the immediate past chairman.
He's
So
still doing his job.
yeah. So I'm still doing the job because we want our fraternity to grow.
Right.
Why not? Because we are the second largest casting manufacturer in the world, and we are proud to say that.
Right.
So China is the first one. We can't beat them, but yeah, we beat US. So foundry is for the next 5 years. Maybe before you pop up the question, it's a good business if you do a quality casting, good pricing, value addition like finished product, sub assemblies, assemblies. The market is there. And after China plus one, after COVID, China plus one and the Trump imposing such duties, it's going to just help India do better.
Okay. So bonus questions, right? Just a couple of them. Why SG iron? Only SG iron? Because you only pour SG iron in your foundry. Why?
See, as I told you, I started the foundry which taught me. So they were doing HGIN, and the parts which first came into me was only HGIN.
Okay.
They never came with cast iron.
Right.
So I should proudly say I have learnt my guru, as I said, is Mr. Sanjay Bichu.
Right.
So he wanted to give off his division of hand molding and do a ARPA line. So when he gave me this parts, they were only HGIN. So I poured the first day, the first sheet was poured as HGIN. So I was comfortable with it.
And this was back in 2005.
Yeah. And from then till now, we've been only doing HGIN. We did try cast iron, failed miserably, 1 or 2 hits. And I said, forget it. We stick with HGIN.
Stick to what you know.
Yeah. So and basically mixed product. I didn't want to. Then you have to have a different bins for cast iron runner. I do not say people don't do it.
Right.
A lot of my friends do both. They've been managing this both. It's an art basically. But we wanted to stick with one metal, specialize in one metal.
Okay.
But that gives us a drawback, saying that we cannot pull in that kind of orders like cast iron and HGN together. Some of our friends do about 600 tons, 800 tons, 1000 tons, or even 400 tons with a mix and match combination.
Right.
To just guess HGN, it's a little difficult.
So
But yeah.
there's a statistic for you. I did a really nice podcast with the managing director of Elchem, and he mentioned that globally the spread between cast iron and ductile iron is about 50-50 split. In India it's about 20-80. Just 20% of the market is ductile iron, whereas 80 is cast iron. So that's some really good news for you.
But as you said, now 20% is ductile iron, then it's a little risky because I'm doing HGN. 80%.
It's on the rise. It has to come up to that 50-50, right?
Yeah. So eventually it is going to come, because as I mentioned, the industries like construction, injection molding, railway,
Right.
Air compressor, machine tool, then you have so many other sectors. They are moving towards HGN. So there's a vast market for it. So we didn't want to be in cast iron because there's a lot of people doing it.
Correct.
We cannot be into steel because we didn't have the knowledge of it. So what was taught to me was HGN, so stuck with.
Correct. You're running a jobbing foundry.
Yeah.
Right. So you pretty much know by now how to expand a jobbing foundry, and I think you've done that really remarkably well. So what would you say to someone who's running a jobbing foundry? How do they approach an expansion? Because it's very easy to say, okay, I had my 3rd, 4th, 7th high pressure line, but how does a jobbing foundry approach growth and expansion?
I think so. They should get in touch with me. No, I'm just.
Anand Desai Consultancy.
No. See, I just say today the technology is there in place.
Yeah.
Way back in 2005, the market was not such open. There are a lot of players in India who were not making machineries for jobbing foundry.
Right.
But today, yes, there is technology available. You just need to go around, search for it, try to understand what product you need to manufacture, and set it up. And anybody needs help, I'm always there.
Correct.
Just buzz me.
Just to follow up on that, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, that's a tricky question. No, nobody could answer it, right?
Exactly.
So I am not anybody who can
Yeah, but
answer that.
there must be a way that you approach it in, right? Do you have the infrastructure first, or do you acquire the customer first? Like in your Japanese case,
Yeah.
it was reverse.
Yeah.
You sort of had the customer yet, so you went and built the infrastructure. But what about this unit?
Now I would say that you better have the chicken first.
Okay. Get the customer first. Today, in today's day and age.
So what happens? It's the other way around. Actually, it's a dilemma. I'll tell you what. If you have the setup, you will get the customer. If you do not have the setup, you don't get the customer. But if you have the zeal to deliver, you will definitely get a customer. One of the customers like who I got, they'll pat your back and take you ahead.
So both
You should
work.
be- yeah,
Both work.
Yeah.
But you prefer the chicken.
yeah.
Okay.
Now.
Looking back. Okay. I also see there's a very strong willingness in you to adopt new products, like especially with the IoT, with the ERP, with the other things that you showed me that you're doing. So where does this come from? Like, why do you always, even your spectrometer, right? You're going for with your furnace as well, right? You went for plasma, I think.
Yeah.
When initially there were no foundries over here in plasma, and you told me that everybody. I mean, tell me that story about plasma. That's really cool.
So, as I said previously, I've used Endotherm.
Right.
No regrets. They're a very good company. But when I wanted to expand, I didn't have the finances so much.
Right.
So I wanted a better product at a better price. So the deal didn't go through. One of my friend, Mr. Varun from Kolhapur, recommended me, why don't you have a look at a plasma furnace? Because he had seen one in Kolhapur
Correct.
exhibition. So I searched them, went to Ahmedabad, studied them for 6 months. Because I am a machine manufacturer, I could understand what goes through into the machine. So one guy was from Electrotherm, one was from Endotherm in plasma. So Ketan and Harshad, I met them, the owners. Understood they were very good in they are very good in induction hardening. Furnace they entered later. So I said I would like to give them an opportunity. In 2017, I was the first person who bought it. Initially, yes, we had some teething problems. Any machine does. So after that, there was no looking back. I got a good price in IGBT. Now, thyristor and IGBT. So IGBT is the latest technology. Now in IGBT also you have got better pulses, 6 pulse, 16 pulse, something like that.
Okay.
So now we have bought that furnace. I have bought the second furnace also here in this foundry, and it's fantastic. It's working fantastic. We have got good units per ton as a
So
benchmark.
what drives you? What drives you to take on new manufacturers at that time? Like where does that come from?
When I was new, 2005, somebody took over me as.
So it's like paying back, sort of like that.
So I see. I will also like to mention here JK Equipments. Again, Bhargav and Krupal. I bought the first. I used to do CO2 molding till 2012.
Okay.
But in 2012 till CO2 molding, the turnaround time for a CO2 molding is more.
Very long, yeah.
Yeah, but in no bag it is faster. So when you say no bag, you cannot have the conventional mullers doing it.
Correct.
So I bought the first mixer in 2014, and from then to now, I've been only buying their equipment, and I'm happy with their equipment.
Yeah, and you also have a make in India philosophy.
Yeah,
For that specially.
because see, if you see my machine shop, most of my machines, no, all of my machines are Indian. So when you can get, if you give an opportunity, we can also excel. We are no less. So
Yeah, but I think you missed out a part of the story. You said that everybody in Belgaum was watching to see how your plasma furnace was performing.
see, always the thing is when you are a trendsetter.
Right. Did they like check with you like it's day like 263? How is plasma furnace working? Was it like
There
that?
are a lot of friends of mine who are giving me a call now and then, asking, "How's your furnace doing?
Right.
Is it going good?"
Right.
So yes, it's fine. No, we heard that some issue initially. I said yes, it does, because all the parts are not manufactured plasma. They also
Right.
bought
Outsourced,
out
right.
things. Yeah, bought out things. So they didn't function well. We had some issues. we had the patience to wait because I'm a machine manufacturer. I know how difficult it is.
Correct.
So we gave them the time. They sorted it out,
Hmm.
and I was lucky enough because I was the first guy to buy it. I got a good price, good service, and there was no looking back. So for them also the journey. See, they started with one furnace in 2017. Now they are mostly have more than 25 furnaces in Belgaum.
Right.
So people waited for a year and a half to see how I do, and then the cascading effect was there.
You get them informed.
Yeah.
Okay. You also had some very nice key points to add on Kolhapur versus Belgaum. You said Kolhapur today is advancing at a very fast rate and has advanced in the last 10 years. Why has Belgaum not? I'm really putting you on the edge of your chair over here, but
There you go.
I think it's really important.
Now you're cornering me, so it's okay. All my friends are only listening. See, as I said, 30-40 years back, Pune Kirloskar company or any company used to come to Belgaum for castings. Kolhapur was not so famous like today it is. It has gone leaps and bounds. Mark me, it's gone leaps and bounds. Kolhapur people are very aggressive. Kolhapur people are risk takers. And also an advantage in Kolhapur, I feel, what they are today is because they have got very good infrastructure. Like if you have been to Kagal, you have seen how Kagal is. We lack that infrastructure from the government. They had a policy, industrial policy in place, which was favoring them to an extent of 80% subsidy on the investment what they make. So if I'm doing about 500 CR investment, 400 CR is taken care, but you will get it in the 10 years. So that was one of the driving factors for them maybe to excel.
Correct.
And the government, and if you go to, not in Kolhapur, if you go to Maharashtra anywhere, you will see fantastic infrastructure in terms of industrial estates. You go to Kolhapur itself, you have got Gokul Shirgaon, you got Shiroli, you have got Kagal MIDC, you have Hath Kalinglaz, you have got different places. In Belgaum, we have only 2 industrial estates notified. One is Udhampag, one is Honga Industrial Estate.
Correct.
The other ones, what are there, they're all private ones. And this we have bought and converted into an industrial NA and using it. So this was one of the cutting edge for Kolhapur to excel faster. Belgaum, we got behind because of maybe industrial policies not favoring us.
Correct.
Industrial estates.
Correct.
And the other thing is risk-taking factor as such has Kolhapur people a little aggressive.
They're very competitive.
Yeah.
Has
And
things,
aggressive.
do you think things are changing now slowly, or what's your opinion on that?
Yes, now I can say people in Belgaum are gearing up.
Right.
People in Belgaum are expanding also. And either you expand or you get washed off. That's the only thing going to happen.
Yeah. Because I think I also saw like you and Ram are really like pushing the boundaries as what's possible to expand. Because every time I visit even Ram's places, there's always like something going on, some new shed being, and like, what is that? Ah, it's a new expansion. It's a new expansion. Literally every 6 months, you know, from last 6 years.
Now, if you would like to specifically talk about Ram, then I think so. Ram should thank us later,
Right.
Because we are doing marketing for him.
Right.
Ram is one person who's very focused on what he wants to do.
Right.
He's captured a particular market. He's focused on it. You can say 100%. If I'm not mistaken, Ram, you have to correct me later. 100% exports. So he knows his clientele well, and he's expanded leaps and bounds. So he's still at Undabag with his foundry. He knows how much tonnage he wants to do.
Right.
He's having a machine shop already, which is expanded in Sulga. He's already expanded in Mache.
Yeah.
So I'm happy he's really doing good.
Correct.
And we need such people keep motivating us.
Correct.
So he brings in a lot of RFQs for us also. He wants to share business
Correct.
if somebody wants to do it.
Correct.
So he buys some things from us.
Correct.
So we are collaborating with each other. Like that, we are collaborating with some other foundries also where we can't supply the castings, but we are doing some machining work for them in our machine shop. So our machine shop is totally different from the foundry. So we are machining for some of the foundries here. So that's how it is.
Right.
If you don't collaborate now, it's a little difficult to run the business.
Of course. I like I've seen that in Kolhapur as well. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of sharing. Yeah. Okay. Last 2 questions. How should foundry men approach growth in the future? Like, what do you think they should actively do with their time? Like, obviously, there's different stages of the ladder right now, right? But what should they be thinking of? How do they approach growth?
Growth can be approached only in 2 ways. One is your customer satisfaction. Second is you keep improvising technology technology, again technology. If you do not adapt and expand, we will not be in the race. Because today, what we used to do about in 10, 15 years back, there are technology available which can ease your work. So if you do not adapt, somebody else will definitely. So my strong message to my fraternity is we have to change with the time, stop conventional things, get into automation as far as possible. Because these days, as I said, these days is very difficult in any industries. It's very difficult to have your good manpower, skilled manpower into this line. If you do not, you'll not believe. I will just tell you, these days, employees, in sense manpower, tries to judge your foundry by what you have inside and how easy it is for him to work.
Correct.
How the fatigue levels are lesser. Based on this, he enters your gate.
Correct.
Earlier, it was not like. Earlier, it was all manual intervention, manual handling. So it was part and parcel.
Correct.
But now it is not. They look into a lot of things.
That's
So-
why you expanded with the canteen and everything, like I saw earlier.
Yeah, because see, you'll have to develop a culture basically. If people have to select you now, it is not you selecting the employees; they are selecting you.
Correct.
If you do not have ethical practices and a culture built up, you will not get manpower. So after you finish a round of questions, I would like to ask one question which you should answer.
Yeah.
I'll be interviewing you. So once you finish,
Yeah, I think we're done. You can shoot.
so now I'll come to one question. See, I've been seeing your podcasts, mostly all of them, which entices me, or which you make snippets where it catches your eye. Basically.
yeah.
I would like to ask you. Actually, this is a very good platform where you openly speak about things, try to understand the fraternity. What made you start doing podcasts? What made you start looking into this?
Okay.
Trying to meet people, trying to get them on a platform,
Right.
and how people. A lot of people are skeptical to give their interviews,
Correct.
especially in this.
Yeah.
In this
I
line.
can shed some light on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in this line.
Right.
So I just wanted to understand what made you start this.
So it started by, I think, elimination. It was mainly an elimination process. Like, what can I not do? And was left with like the things that, okay, I think these are things that I can do. So, for example, I spent 6 months, 1 year living at my foundry at Kolhapur, and I'm probably the worst operator for a foundry that I can possibly come across. But I have these ideas. I think things should be like this, but I have absolutely no patience to sit in one place and operate things. So I think I'm really, really bad at that. But what I really excel and love to do is travel and meet people.
Okay.
So I tried to find a way to incorporate travel and meeting people into a way that I could sort of build a revenue stream in the future, which I do have a plan for. I mean, very soon.
So that's why you started the podcast. And how?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted a business where I could do lifelong.
So now
You know, like your dad and your
uncle.
like they're not going to retire. So it was.
So I just want to ask you, were everybody open when you said you would like to take an interview and try to get into it?
No, of course not.
So can you just share some light on it?
Yeah, so I don't think everybody is closed from a point of sharing. I think mainly, like, see, this platform is a little new. You like to take on new technology, so you're here, right? But a lot of people are waiting to see how it matures up, how it evolves, because they have reputations to maintain. That is one thing. So we're probably waiting, watching on the sidelines to see a couple of bigger guests to come on the podcast. But we have had, Mr. Shanewaz from PK Steel.
Yes,
That was a really big turning point in our journey. Mr. JD Desai.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So all these interviews have done really well. Mr. Rohan Kotecha from Rajkot, 2 high pressure lines. So all these interviews have really been change the trajectory enormously after we've done them. So I think probably this will also.
So basically, I would like to say is you've been doing a good work.
Thank you.
Because of the podcast, a lot of people get insights.
Right.
As you said, a lot of people watching it.
Correct.
People get to know how to go about things, what people have made mistakes, how to run the foundry business, what kind of a foundry industry and how big is it. So it's really good. But one point I would like to mention, which I didn't mention in the interview.
Right.
If we do not evolve in terms of technology in foundry line, your next generation will not come into this line. You have to make a platform
Correct.
and technology up to the mark so that your next generation coming into this line will not feel this work as you what they say is making your hand dirty,
Correct.
making your hand black.
I think I was just talking to someone about this today. They asked me the same question, like, why am I doing the podcast also? Another side objective is, what happens is when someone's growing up and they're like, you graduate in 05 and you come into the Indian industry, you're looking at where can I make the most money? What industry can actually get me the success that I want, right? And what happens is the founding industry doesn't have a lot of figures. You don't have a lot of rich founding men coming and saying, okay, I did this, successful founding man. It's not glorified.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that will definitely change with the way that people have interviews now, because they'll understand it's a viable career path, and then they'll probably be up looking, what is a foundry?
Yeah.
I think
See,
that is.
I'll put this way. I have a son who's 15 years old now. He's in 10th. My wife says he's the next generation to take over.
Right.
But I've always given him an option. I've always asked him, Himanshu, what would you like to do? He says,
Right.
Pa, what you are doing, I would like to do the same thing.
Right.
But I said, you have options.
Right.
But given an option,
Right.
if I do not make this facility up to the mark,
Correct.
by the time they come in,
Correct.
they will not get into this. You have to show them, because see, one is passion, and other thing is the kind of business they want to take over.
Correct.
So if you don't make the platform well, they will never get onboarded.
Correct.
So they will always get scared. So if I would have shown him a foundry in 2005, I'm sure he wouldn't have come into this.
Correct. For sure.
Now because he's seeing this,
Right.
he doesn't know how we started. So now because he's seeing this, maybe he feels that he should get into this. And we should see that the next generation should come into this line. Otherwise, what will happen is, see, today technology is so advancing faster. Kids want to go into AI. Okay? Kids want to be pilots.
Correct.
Kids want to be in IT.
Correct.
They don't want to come into this. They say a lot of stress and all those things. But if you are empty-minded,
Correct.
you should be always preoccupied with things.
Right.
So I always say that you make a very good platform for all my friends who are the next generation who's going to come over. We should see that the fraternity flourishes by giving them a good platform, giving them a good warm welcome with the technology. I always say technology. So there was a movie where they say entertainment. For me, it's technology. So
Correct.
you hit with it and you'll get successful.
And I think you've been really true to your word with the technology part.
Yeah.
That's been the essence. Arun, thank you. This has been really
Nice meeting
amazing.
you. Nice meeting you.
I thank you especially for coming on here and sharing your journey, and also being vulnerable enough to share a lot of stuff that I don't know if you're okay with me asking you. Your wife is smiling from behind. So anyway, thank you so much, and thank you for joining in.
Safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.